Well, greetings, hello, and welcome. I'm Imperial Jedi. Good to have you with us. Today, we're diving into Manor Lords. We've got ourselves a tutorial-styled Let's Play series, and we're going to be covering pretty much all the basics, all the way up to, like, a town of 500 plus. So, I'll get you going. We'll get you there. We'll do trade, we'll do combat, we'll do expansion, we'll do aesthetic, we'll do layout, we'll do it all. So let's just jump in, shall we? Welcome on in. So this is an early access version of the game, so it might be a little bit different. But the foundation of what we're trying to lay right here definitely is strong. So I'm pretty sure this tutorial should hold its own. But as the game changes, expect some new content. All right, so we've set our name. I'm Imperial Jedi. Hi, nice to meet you. I've set my portrait. And you can walk around in third person. For the moment, in the copy I've got, it's all the same character from that perspective. But you can change your portrait just for fun here. And this, my God, this is like the mini game within the game. You could literally spend hours and hours and hours. It's just like, I don't even know where to begin. This is absolutely wild. Every single aspect of this is like interchangeable in like size, number, frequency. I don't even, what is this game? You know what I mean? Anyway, this in itself could take us forever, but for a simplistic approach, let's be the cat people. If you're a dog lover, don't worry, you still got room in my heart. All right, so I'll just jump right in. In the game I've only got one map, and we're going to be playing on a Restoring the Peace scenario template. I'm keeping everything on default. Our end goal is domination. We will be having some off-map raids come in, and we're going to have, like, an NPC frenemy. So we'll have someone basically competing for map tiles with us. If you want, you can play on peaceful. That's really cool. And if you want to play on a real challenge, oh boy. But yeah, this is good for us to start, though, eh? All right, let's just jump in. The map itself is always the same, but what tile you start on, that's going to be different. And of course, like, subject to change. And I don't even know where to begin. This game, like, number one, let's just pause. There's a lot happening here, eh? So, victory condition, dominance. That's us. Build up your town, your manor, and when you're ready, press claims towards regions owned by your opponents. Makes sense, right? So yeah, oh man. This engine, this game, what they've created here, like, this is so incredibly wild. Like, the fact that stuff just happens in real time, it's almost like you're watching The Truman Show, and some of them are aware of it and some of them aren't, you know? So Control C, that's you going in and out of this view right here. You can pause it if you want, that's spacebar. Otherwise, I could just watch this forever. But I will keep it on pause because we are burning days here. So, we are thrown a lot of information at us at once here. If we scroll all the way out, we can see our starting tile on the map relative to everyone else. And we can see our NPC frenemy. We've got bandits, outlaws. And they're going to show up in the form of random raids. And they're also going to have these little bandit camps. We can go attack them. They might have some defense. And if a bandit camp is present, there's a small chance that stuff can get stolen from our home base, which is a little bit inconvenient. All right, so where do we begin? Up here on the top left-hand side, that's the amount of families that are unassigned. That's the amount of families that are assigned. So everyone right now is just going to be a builder bee. If you're unassigned, you just do construction. Living space, pretty straightforward. Shows how many houses we have. Currently none. And there'd be a number, and there'd be a plus with a green next to it if we had available homes. That's a breakdown of our total population. Approval rating, which is very important. We only get new people moving into the region if our approval rating is over 50%. So that's what we want to just keep working on. Public order doesn't really get affected too much in early access, but it does. I do notice a little bit of a dip if we have too much taverns about. Regional wealth is entirely related to trade, and it's going to be what you're going to spend to get more livestock. All this will make so much more sense in the long run. That's a pretty important number right here. Just shows how many months of like supplies basically we have left until we're out. So no fuel consumption happening right now because we have no homes, but we do need to get some firewood, especially going into the winter. Right now it's springtime, so nothing too scary on the horizon, I guess, eh? But firewood eventually. Now over here on the right-hand side, this is a breakdown of our construction. This is so cool. If you go into a build menu, the construction becomes like the main. I don't know why I love that so much. So that's just, you know, food, fuel, crops, commodities, you know, that kind of stuff, right? So this is pretty nifty. We'll worry about that later. But main thing we want to do right now is just start getting some wood. And so where do you want to start with our forest? Well, that area here is a hunting ground, so we want to keep that tree forest, the forest intact. Same with over here. The berries are awesome. And it's a very rich deposit. That's actually fantastic news. A very rich iron deposit as well. That's great. Not very much clarestone. And these we can import. But we'll go over all of that soon. All right, well, the first thing I'd like to look at is just how's the farming? Okay, that's not too bad. Some tiles you can kind of see are like much, much better than others. But overall, I just want a few green zones. I feel like over here, actually, just kind of on the outskirts, that'd be a good spot for it. And what we'll be doing is a church-centric focus, and we'll do kind of like ring roads around it, and we'll have the market be like a central thing. And pretty much any buildings near the market and near the church have a higher chance of leveling up. And this is so much information, I know, but if you build a house that's big enough, you might be able to get a backyard artisan plot. And you'll see all of that in action. And in case you are just like insanely overwhelmed, especially with how much I'm talking, it took me about 20 hours, 30 hours, more or less, to kind of get a feel for what was up. And I'm now almost 100 hours in, and I am stone cold addicted. I've been playing for about 2 weeks now, and I just cannot stop. All right, road, really, really fun making your roads. Downside to making a road that long, if you want to delete it, it deletes the entirety of the segment. So if I go from here to here, I hold down Alt and click, that's removing the road. And that would remove the entirety of that one. So plan accordingly. The King's roads, which are the ones that are already on the map when you start, those ones can't be deleted. So we'll just kind of work within them. And if you're a little bit unsure as to where you want some roads to go and little like shortcuts, you can actually just sit back and watch your citizens, and they're going to do the paths of desire. And that's kind of nifty. So you can watch where they're walking and then just put the path in after. And that'll kind of help them along. All right, well, where's a bit of the high ground? No Star Wars jokes in mind, but if we have the high ground, we have a chance. Yeah, I think just pretty much like right here, dead center. Let's get the church there, and we'll start building around this central location. And a little bit of industry in the back, and then we'll lead into farming. I think that's where the farms were, right? Yeah, that's not too bad, eh? That's not too bad, yep. And then we got a little bit more down here for extra farms. That was the original spot in mind, but even in here is okay. And let's take a look at the other types. Initially, we won't be able to grow rye. That's, oh, of course, rye's the best. But we can do wheat, which is important. Flax, not as much so, but still can get some. And then barley. The good news is, though, everything that like doesn't work very well from a extraction perspective, or if you run out, you can import. And we'll go over that. All right, so we don't have very much timber. That's our building material for it all. Let's get down a logging camp and let us commence. So I think since we want to do some farming over here, let's start taking apart this forest. And we're going to make this the highest priority. And we just put it on 3-speed. And then what's going to happen now is the ox is going to be kind of hauling the heavy timber over. Oh, it's so wild to watch. And then unassigned families are your builders, so they'll come join and help build this up. And early on, it's basically just a shortage of oxen that might be your bottleneck. Because right here, how many of these logs do we need? 2 of them, right? So we've got to go back and forth. And so I said earlier, if you want, you can walk around in like a third-person mode here, which is wild. And then everything, it's a simulation you believe. Like, it's real time. The conversations they have are just so believable. It's weird. I wish there was a way for them to interact with you a bit more, though, eh? Just kind of walk by like, oh, my lord. Ah, beautiful weather, my lord. I remember seeing early videos of this and being like, well, that's ambitious. Good luck to them. But here we are. Like, this is so... I can't even believe it, eh? All right, 3-speed. Stop gushing so much. So these icons here, red obviously is not great. The initial families are going to live in this little camp right here. We could upgrade this if we wanted to, but I think we're better off getting some homes in. And then our supply pile is going to be temporary, whereas the hitching post, that one is permanent. And then some structures can be relocated, which is also pretty nifty. So I would make the argument that this might do a little bit better, say, on one of the roads we just put in. So let's put that right over here. And then since that's like next in line for build, we don't actually have to worry about setting the priority for it, but we could if we wanted to. All right, new message. So this is our NPC frenemy. And this is kind of like if we want some ongoing dialogue, you can just drag conversation pieces into here. Some of them cost influence, which we can get later. But for the moment, we'll just kind of let him stew, you know. He's the yellow, we're the red. And this just also means that the goods that are kind of like out and about. Ooh, Naboot there, buds. In the fields. Where are those even? Ah, here they are. Just going to get a little bit spoiled by rain, but we'll use those up really, really quickly. Also, that's tab. If you want to see kind of like an overview on what's going on. So there shows the homeless people. That's our oxen. What's our oxen's name, by the way? Oh, it's Nickel. Hello there. What a random name. All right, so we now have a lumber camp made. We can get some logs going. I'm going to assign 2 families. You can kind of see how that changes up here. You always want to keep like 1 or 2 just for building. I'll probably break that rule often, but I'll break the rule if we have a chance for new families to move in. So let's get some building materials collected. And then let's get a little bit of industry sorted, and let's get the first residential neighborhood in there as well. And so we do know that we wanted over here to kind of be like the church. And so let's do, just for fun, a double road. I've been experimenting with this a little bit more. And if you draw like a marketplace next to a road, if you draw some housing, it fills in the road a little bit, makes it a little bit wider. Kind of like resembles the King's Road. You can get away with some really cool stuff. So I want this to like break apart and then just do like a ring road around what will be like the church and market. And I'm just going to kind of like eyeball freehand this. And we'll give ourselves lots of room to work with, so we don't feel too claustrophobic. And it's, yeah, more or less like the few ring roads around the church, those are the ones that are going to have like the highest probability of leveling up. And that's how we level up our town. And so I want this to kind of just be like market area here. Yeah, it's not too bad. And then we can do a street that kind of comes up and follows the profile. Definitely not looking for like a North American grid or anything like that, but we'll have some calm shapes here. And just when you zone houses, like it is such a pleasant experience. And I really, really, really hope for something like that in like City Skyline somehow, eh? Okay, so we're not really winning any awards here on perfect symmetry, but it's the year like 1348. You gotta give us a bit of a break, eh? Good enough. She looks all right. So yes, a few ring roads here. You can't really do too much decorating in an early access mode right now. Also, how cool is like the day-night cycle, the weather? Like we just like appreciate this for a second. Like genuinely, this is one of the greatest simulations. Like I believe this. And if there's a way to get like DLC and different like starting eras in different parts of the world, like imagine feudal Japan. Imagine you're building like a shogun empire. Imagine New England, the New World, upper lower Canada. Imagine the Middle East. Like there's just so much you can do. And like it's either gonna be mods, DLC hopefully, or just who knows, eh? But what a fun, this honestly is just pushing the envelope for what early access can be. In fact, this is just a one-man dev team. Anyway, I'm going to gush about the game constantly, so you'll have to put up with me for that. It's just really refreshing to see like an indie title be like this epic. But let's be honest, indie titles have always been amazing. Okay, so we want to keep away from that band around the hunting grounds. If we end up shrinking the woods too much, the animals will leave. And animals are our friends, so we want to keep them. Okay, it's actually not too bad, eh? Bring this in. And I do find, like, if I could make any kind of criticism for the game, I find it's a little bit dark at night. And I really wish you could do like fire cauldrons, torches, stuff like that, you know? Okay, so let's do the initial houses here. It's a great spot for it. And we'll kind of see how like backyard plots, the size, that kind of stuff affects them. So that's our default. That's just kind of showing that we can build one house. It's right off of that road there. We've got a little side cottage, so if we want to bring more members of the family in, we can. And then we've got a back workshop. If we rotate that around, that's cool. That's what I'm looking for. So to upgrade your city to the next level and get more development points. Oh, see, that one's just a little bit tiny there, eh? But that's okay. Variety is the spice of life, but... yeah, if we do end up with artisan backyards... oh, definitely not enough logs for that. We can put, like, workshop stuff, like blacksmithing, like archery, weapons. And that's eventually what we're going to be selling. And to get, like, the sexier stuff, you're going to have level 2s and 3s. And you have a higher chance of that if you're building it closer to your church. Okay, so our people are going to need some food. We are absolutely out, and I'm just monologuing here. So let's slow it down slightly. Where do those berries go? Ah, here we are. So we'll put the berries just on a little off-road going into the woods. And then it's going to have its own little pantry storage. But we will eventually want like a generic storage area for all of our food. Okay, so that one can now just be high priority, please. Put that on 3 speed. 3 families. You can see now, right... words. You can see right now we've got 4 plots under construction. They haven't been built yet, though. And family is hungry. That was my bad. So, in order of operations, you want to rush and get the logging camp built. You don't want to, like, monologue and plan out street layouts for too long. Get your hunting grounds in. Get your berries. And have happy citizens as a result. All right, so why don't we bring the double road through here? And then let's be really cautious to avoid the hunting ground. But that's kind of nifty. So we can come from the King's Road all through here. And this can feel like an arterial road to get into the city. I think it'll be really nice if we get some artisan backyards with the forest behind us. You can adjust the curvature. Control and your mouse wheel. I don't really mind it on its default. I think I may have adjusted it slightly, but it feels really nice. And then, yeah, smaller segments until you're a little bit more comfortable with the game itself. All right, so forager hut. In case you're ever a little bit like lost on where stuff is, just remember your tab. You can kind of see your buildings and whatnot. So no workers up there. Hopefully some more symbols show up, but let's assign a couple families. Take advantage of the fact that, like, we've got a full deposit. It's a rich deposit. The deposit's still growing. And then we have hungry mouths right now, so. A little bit morbid, but, you know, people obviously, they can die if they don't eat, just like in real life, so. Get that in ASAP. And also, get a well. So there's our water table. That's not too bad. Beautiful spot right there for it. Let's put another one over here. And the wells not only give people water for their homes, and that'll help them with their leveling up, but you'll need wells for putting out fires. Both metaphorically and in real. Yeah, actually, so if you are playing with combat, which is an option, bandits can come. They can raid and kill, like, your whole army, and they can burn your city down, which is very stressful. And you kind of see right here, we're having some bandits steal stuff from us. It means there's a bandit camp somewhere on the map. Okay, so food's on the way back up. It is June. Things are looking great. Houses are starting to get built. And we did put the road in, but not the hunting camp. And that's just right over here. We'll be mindful of the forest. We actually can grow the forest back out, which is really cool. So the forager's hut is now full, and let's start now working on some logistics. So near center of town, near where the market and that kind of stuff's going to be, let's pick somewhere logical for some goods to end up. Remember, the closer we are to the church, the more likely we are to upgrade the building, and then space is kind of like an important thing. So why don't we grab where this kind of road doubles, because these would be just skinny enough to get these in, no problem. That's a storehouse and a granary. Which one was this one? That's the storehouse. Perfect. And we can disconnect that snap to road, and we can click and put it down wherever we want. And I was saying before, early on, it's your hitching post. Like a lack of oxen, that's going to be slowing you down. And the oxen are going to like transport the big logs, and then horses are going to transport everything else. Same with the mules. So we'll work on that. And then eventually we're just going to be like happy sheep farmers. Like I have a really fun strategy for us to get rich and just be really self-sufficient from one plot alone. But we'll get there. In today's episode, we're just going to get our starting layout done and get some homes in. And I hope we've kind of gone over a lot of the basics here. So speaking of which, let's get back into expanding our city. So that's our lumber camp somewhere. Oh, for Pete's sake. Oh, there it is. So here's lumber. I'm going to assign... Oh, we only have one family left, so never mind. I'm going to get our woodcutter going. And I'm going to get the saw pit as well. And our next short-term goal is to get the church built. Because at our current rate, we are unfortunately losing a little bit of approval here. The church will bring that back up. And once we get some steady food and a market going, that'll also bring it back up. And then once we get to 50% approval rating, that's when new families move in. So it's a little bit inconvenient if unfortunately your families do die. As morbid as that is early on. So we got very lucky, very close there. Okay, I've got a second... Oh golly, where is it? I'm looking for the horseshoe. Might be under construction still. I do want to purchase another ox, is what I'm trying to say. So I'll do that. It'll get hitched to the available one. If you hover over that, we got stable space 1 out of 2. You can't really buy ox too frequently, so buy them when you need them. And if you don't have a hitching spot for it, eventually it will run away. So I would say not enough space. That means the one I put down hasn't been built yet. I think that's going to be over with our logistics. Nope. So you can kind of see another bit of criticism. I do wish for a like a few more symbols. Yeah, there we go. I'm just blind. So we get a little bit of leeway with this right now, but eventually the ox will disappear, and that'll be a poor use of our starting money. Okay, whisking through the night here. Perfect. Symbol's gone away. That's good. And then just get these houses built now. And so 52 logs, more than enough. We needed 20 some odd, I believe. Love it. Oh, that's incredible. So we'll face the church with these. And what we're hoping for is we got a little bit wide, as you can kind of see here. Just like taking advantage of our like weird oblong shape. But that's going to give us a bit more space for some backyard plots. You'll kind of see how that makes sense. And then being this close to the church, like we're pretty much guaranteed for these to level up. Oh, that's so cool. I love it. I love it. So we'll face the church with it. That's really cool. And then just hanging out on 3-speed for a hot second here. Just admiring the view. And then mercenaries, we buy those with our treasury. We'll get a pop-up soon that's going to explain a little bit of the combat. We'll eventually form an army. And the next episode, we're going to get ready for our first raid. But right now, it's September. Let's get ready for winter. So we're heading back over here. So the saw pit, woodcutter's lodge, we want this one to be our highest priority. And we've just got 2 oxen delivering stuff around, so it's going to be a little bit slow. So that's why we want this highest priority. And we're going to take someone off the logging camp, because we've got a decent amount of logs, I'd say. You know, yeah, not bad. Kind of, sort of, yeah, decent. Then we'll put them onto the woodcutters. What's really cool, too, is we assign the family, just like everything else. And the woodcutters are going to need market space so they can sell firewood. And so that brings us to our first market. And so let's get started with that in this little pocket here. And this should be big enough to get a few stalls in. There we go. And then, unfortunately, it will cover up the whole of the trees there, eh? But I do want to have some stall variety. You can kind of see how that also affects how the stalls go in, where the arrows are your anchor points. So we'll do that. A couple stall spots. All right, saw pit is done. So I'm going to take someone off the woodcutter, put them over onto... Oh, sorry, the logging. I always mix these up, eh? And we should get our first bit of houses built because they're going to want somewhere to live. And we're going to want that heated. And then next thing we're going to start doing, we're going to start storing up planks. And we're going to build our church. And that'll be, I think, our next episode. So a nice little cutesy humble beginning here. A few more things we can do. Yeah, there's your saw pit. So let's gather a few more logs first. We'll tell our worker bees here to save 20 of these, always for construction. Then anything over 20 we can use for, like, say, the saw pit. But we want to get the woodcutters going first. And so new members of the family have joined because now they've got houses. It's a little bit more, like, attractive. They can call in cousins, you know, that kind of stuff. That helps strengthen the house itself. And so these guys here have a backyard plot. That's really, really cool. That means we could do something like vegetable garden, chicken coop, goat shed. We could do apples if we went through our development points and spent them over in the oh, they're there, orchard. Our approach is going to be for trade logistics. We want to do trading on the grand scheme, and this makes every trade route a maximum of only 25 to unlock, only 25 regional wealth, and that'll make sense. Trading was one of the things that kind of confused me when I was brand new to this. All right, so there's our settlement upgrade. And then as a little bit of a bonus to help us with our initial combat, we are getting weapons delivered to us. This kind of explains all that. So make a strong militia, you know, ward off the bandits, ride off into the sunset, have a great day, right? So our army, if we kind of hover, well, not hover, but click the plus sign, we can see that we've got 20 spears, and we've got 20 shields. And so these guys here, spear militia, perfect. Not enough recruits, though. So if we get more families moving in and keep them unassigned, they'll be spear militia. Actually, I lied. They don't have to be unassigned. They'll be pulled from pretty much anywhere. So let's 3-speed here. Let's get a little bit more built. And yeah, approval should start moving up soon. If we hover over, we can kind of see the issues. Part of it was the homelessness, which we're now starting to solve. Firewood is on the way up, which is good news. And we're going to want to try to get a little bit more food variety. And so I don't think I have anyone doing the hunting yet, but once more families come in, that'll be easier to deal with. Okay, so what we need down here, just so things can stay renewable, is I'm going to put in a couple foresters. We'll build stuff now because, you know, we've got tons of resources and manpower is pretty cheap. And the foresters' huts, they're going to regrow trees, and we can move the area in which they're regrowing. But I find that one doesn't really feel like it's enough when you've got all three of these working. And do you guys have the... yeah, they do. That's so cool. So we know where we set up the market. Let's go walk over there and see it, eh? Weird. You, like, recognize. It's so weird. Okay, so what side of the woods was this on? That was on the side that's leaving the city. So if we cut through here, we should just stumble upon our town. And that is just awesome. So I like how the foliage kind of goes away. And I really... Man, can you imagine how much fun it would be if you had a steed right now? Or like a dog or someone as a bud, you know? All right, watch me get lost. That's why it's kind of fun too when you get, like, you know, a church or something tall. You can see your landmarks through the woods. And it's really, really fun when you get your town all built up and you go like a couple tiles over and just look in. Oh, I see road. Oh, for Pete's sake, you lost. Oh dear. Well, I don't even know what direction you were going, but okay. Try that again. Ah, yes, quite. Yes, there we are. So back over to where the market is. Now we can see members of the family selling some of the products. So it should be berries and it should be firewood to start. And they'll come stock this. That's so cool. She does not seem too impressed. Okay, back to 3-speed, ready for winter. And not a bad start. So like I said, we're going for like a ring road approach around the church. The church is going in the middle. The church is going to be just like an awesome influence. It's going to help us upgrade the bourgeoisie plots. And those that have the backyards, that'll be great for more artisan stuff like blacksmithing, archery. And our surplus of weapons is what we're going to eventually be selling at market. And we're going to import any raw material that we either run out of or just can't get out of the ground fast enough. And it's going to be a winning solution. We'll have so much fun. And so I was saying our first development point, I do want to spend that on trade logistics. And then our second one probably is going to be sheep breeding. That way we can start importing some sheep, get some farms going, and then sell excess sheep. And then just bank the difference to buy like food that we can't get. We'll eventually go hard on armor and weapons. That'll be really, really fun. So that'll be a later point unlock, but for the moment, trade logistics. And let's get a little bit more housing in here while we got some wood to spend. Oh, see, that's so cool when you get the few extras in there, eh? And if you wanted to, we could shrink some of these down. Kind of gives us some different options. Now, it's a shame I can't get this to go the direction I want. I might try snapping the points differently. Obviously not a perfect system, you know, but I feel like with this game, the good just so dramatically outweighs the bad. And the fact that the developer wants to, like, go early access at launch and just get input from the community instead of just kind of, like, forcing change in choices on us, I think that's awesome. So I am very pleased with this game and its development so far. And if this stuff here is, like, you know, the biggest complaint I can kind of find, and it's not even a complaint. What a gem. So in these areas, I usually do these in multiple segments. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay, well, I think we're going to wrap her up here for the first episode. So far, we've just kind of gone over the basics. We've talked about everything we're seeing, which is absolutely a lot. Gone over some of this stuff here. That'll make way more sense when we build the manor. The manor we're able to build once you hit a small village. So we can put this down, basically, anytime we want. And then we can expand outward on this. You can do walls, you can do gates, you can have guard towers, you can have a tax office, and that'll all kind of like make sense. But for the moment, let's not stress about that. In our next episode, we're going to start moving into farming. We're going to get the church built. We're hopefully going to start ramping up the population because we are absolutely ready for some new people. And we should start some industrial chains. So that'd be really cool. And then I imagine the first of the raids will be happening in our next episode. If not, we'll push that to the third. But big, ambitious plans, so I hope you stick with it. If you enjoyed it so far, hit the like button and obviously subscribe if you aren't already, eh? Well, this is Imperial Jedi checking out. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Any questions at all, you let me know. We do live stream this game as well. I'll be live streaming it pretty much the whole day at launch. So come in and say hi. Any questions you want, you just ask me as well. Man, I am just so addicted. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll see you in the next episode. I could play literally forever. So I hope that lines up with your schedule. All right. Adios. We'll see you in the next episode. Stay hydrated. Happy building. And so help me. Just if you have anything else to do, like do it before this game. Like check on the kids. How's the laundry? Jiggle the work mouse, you know? Anyway, you take care. I look forward to the comments. Have a great day. Thanks for being with us.